Hello, hello, hello.
What's up, y'all?
Welcome to Fiance 5.
That's us. That's us. Stay cool, rights, and feed king.
What up? What up? So, I'm a little tired.
Really?
I'm a little tired.
Don't say it. If you keep telling
But
yourself.
I need to let the people know. Let the people know.
But you know what? You could. I'm just saying, you could try this on for size. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Until you start to catch up to it and it starts to catch up to you.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about today's show.
Yes. Woo! Nelson the cat is excited too.
Yeah, he's excited.
He's so excited. Let me tell you.
So, what? Something about Nelson?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, tell it.
Note to self, for those of you who are pet parents like us, you might want to find a cat sitter.
Yeah.
Instead of packing your cat in their cat crate and traveling 7 hours from New York City to the Cape with a cat in tow.
We gotta work it out.
The good news is Nelson the cat is here. Nelson the cat is pretty good adjusting, and all things worked out. However, if I could do it over, which I can't, I will do it differently when we go back to New York City with Nelson the cat.
On that note, what's I talking about?
On that, you weren't talking about anything. I was.
Oh shoot.
Okay, so listen. Sekou is really fatigued because we've had a long
we had a long day.
It's
been a long day.
A really, really long day. However, it was so
but it was
incredible.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So okay, so first of all, we're on the Cape, right?
We're on the Cape.
And what we did today was we traveled to Martha's Vineyard. So Martha's Vineyard is its own island. You can't drive to Martha's Vineyard. You have to take a ferry or a flight, right? So we took the ferry out to. It was about a half an hour on the ferry, right?
30 minutes.
About 30 minutes, right?
Yes.
And so we went out there, and we joined our neighbors who were doing this tour, right?
It's an African American.
Yeah.
It's called the African American Heritage Trail Tour. The African American Heritage Trail Tour.
Now, we weren't thinking much about this, right? We thought, it's fine.
Learn something. About Black folks.
But we weren't feeling really pressed about it. We went and we got some ackee and saltfish. Woo!
So I'm having a year of many firsts.
Many firsts.
I've had so many firsts. Today was my first time ever going to the Cape. Sorry, Martha's Vineyard. My second time on the Cape. Second time on the Cape. First time Martha's Vineyard.
First time Martha's Vineyard, okay.
First time ever. And I used to work in a Jamaican restaurant in Houston, Texas. I've never had or even heard of. No, I've heard of saltfish.
But not ackee and saltfish.
But not ackee and saltfish.
Yo, I did not know. You didn't tell me that you didn't have it. But oh my goodness.
I am open to try new food. I love new culinary experiences. Yeah. Nelson the cat wants all of the attention all the time. Look at him.
He's chilling
He's
back
so
there.
spoiled.
Chilling there.
And it was delicious.
So it was yummy. It was yummy.
Yes. It looks like scrambled eggs.
Yeah, it looks like scrambled eggs. Yeah, it does. So anyway, we were chilling. We did all that stuff, and then we were like, well, let's go check out this thing. I was really thinking about the fact that there was a limo, a bus thing, because we're going to be riding around in the bus. I was like, that'd be cool for me to chill in the bus.
That's what you were thinking about?
That's what I was trying to think about. I was like, I'm just going to chill in the bus, yo. Chill in the bus. And so anyway, we came, got on, and my man dropped knowledge. He dropped knowledge.
Before we even took off.
Oh my goodness. And so what I was telling Pete just a few minutes ago is that it felt like. Now I've been to Martha's Vineyard before, right? But I've been to Martha's Vineyard before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I've always thought of it as as a white person's paradise, let's say. But it felt like from his
guide, his
knowledge that is really an African American haven, and now some white folks have moved in. You know, because I was unprepared for the amount, the sheer amount of things that we had done on Martha's Vineyard. It shocked me. And I told Fee, "Oh, I gotta show you the gingerbread houses." That's the first thing I said, because I gotta show you the one thing I know. Remember, gingerbread houses. Took her to see gingerbread houses. Took her to see the gingerbread houses, and that was fun. And that was the first stop on the trail, right? And so, having just experienced the trail, the gingerbread houses, to be reintroduced to them as something that a Black man created, I was like,
well,
what?
I want to just jump in here.
Okay, come on, jump in.
So, I too have always, I'm from the Midwest. The thought of the Cape, the Hamptons, Martha's Vineyard was so far from my realm of reality. I just never thought about going there, not even wanting to. I don't know that I've ever had a desire, to be honest. I've never had a desire to visit Martha's Vineyard, the Hamptons, and Cape Cod, because I thought all of them were white people paradises.
Yeah, I guess I can see how you can think that. Yeah,
right. So I thought for me there was no cultural reference, and even though I grew up on the Cosbys, and I love the Inkwell, which Seku's not seen the movie The Inkwell, we are going to watch that together. Even though I've experienced the Inkwell, I don't recall them referencing the Inkwell being on Martha's Vineyard. And also, I didn't know that the movie was based on an actual real location. I thought it was fictitious. So today's my first day, and the gingerbread houses, when I was going to ask Sekou, why did you say gingerbread houses? Because I'm thinking Hansel and Gretel, gingerbread houses that look like a gingerbread cookie. No. Oh my goodness. But as we continue to walk and take these cute, adorable little and not so little houses in, I saw some that had the name gingerbread. So I said, oh, okay, that's interesting. When we started the tour, before we even moved, before the van moved, he started giving us the history lesson. And I was like, instantly I knew, we are in for a treat.
You started taking notes.
I started.
I was like, uh-oh, she's taking notes.
this cell phone, I have a whole pages of notes and pictures and video, and I recorded him sharing this knowledge with us. What he said about the gingerbread houses, the first one we happened upon was on the left. The house looks like it looks empty, as if no one's living in it. He tells us this story about a woman of color and indigenous. I'm not for sure what that means. I don't know if maybe she's Black and her mom was Native American, or if she's mixed. I'm not for sure, but she had 8 children. She was evicted from the property. Basically, it sounded like she was evicted for just being Black. And they kept saying that she was unable to care for herself and her children. And she kept telling them, we're fine. We're taking care of our children, meaning her and her mom, because she was a widow. So it felt as if there was some classism and sexism. Like a woman of those times was incapable of taking care of herself without a man. That's what I also got from that. So he's sharing these stories with us about these homes. And then he said the first 60 of the 300 and I think 16 houses were built, gingerbread houses were built by a Black man.
I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, what?
What?
That shocked me. Shocked me.
And then the stories became more and more rich, more and more. How in the world did these people do this with so many obstacles that our ancestors faced? You think about the obstacles that you face today. It's nothing compared to what Black people were facing in the early 1600s, the 1700s, and the 1800s. It was supposed to be an hour-and-a-half tour, by the way. It was almost 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours. I was like,
the last 15 minutes, I said to him, I said, I have nothing. I have no more capacity to take on any more information. I said, I am like full. I'm getting tired. It was so
fulfilling.
It was so fulfilling.
Yeah.
For me, I thought more of us need to know about the Black experience on Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah.
More people, not just Black people, because what I found is when we bought the ticket in the Cape, we bought it in Yarmouth, Cape Cod, on Yarmouth, Cape Cod, Yarmouth. The woman who took our tickets, because Seku's stepmom had her ticket, the lady asked, what are you all doing on Martha's Vineyard today? Mama Janet said, we are going to take the African American tour. And then the lady's processing us, and she said, so say, what are you going to be doing again? Mama Janet repeated. The lady said, I've never even heard of that. So me just hearing about it the day before from some neighbors who said they took another tour last year on the vineyard, and not one time did the tour guide talk about a native tribe that was on the vineyard way before white people, way before colonizers, way before Europeans. And this tour guide never mentioned them, never acknowledged their contribution to the vineyard. She heard that there's an African American tour. She wanted to check it out. I said to the ticket lady, when she said she's never heard of this tour, I said, yeah. I said, the big tours don't talk about the African American experience and contribution. I said, so that's why we want to see it. She said, that sounds like something I want to do. I want to do that too. And I noticed the literature that they're offering, they don't have this literature in their little box. So the only way you might hear about this tour is if you're watching us on Fiance Files, or if you know someone who's...
How did they find out about it? How did our neighbors find out about it?
That's a great question. Our neighbors found out about this tour from her friend in North Carolina who's taken the tour. And now the lady who told us about it, she's in her 80s. She's been to Martha Vineyard numerous times and never heard about this tour. I mean, I'm talking about Black people who have built homes, not a home, not 2 or 3 homes, not 10 homes. I'm talking, we probably drove past, were introduced to at least 30 houses that they built from the ground up in the 1800s.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah. And there were these little plaques, these little small plaques.
They're called markers on buildings.
They're called markers. They're little plaques, and they've gotten, all the information is written on the plaque about the African American who originally owned this house and all the history. And they're right there. And I've been I've been to Martha's Vineyard enough that I remember being near some of those houses, and I've never noticed it. I never noticed those little things. I was like, how could I miss that? And so just to get the sense of of I don't know,
accomplishment, contribution, pride, the sense of
conscious, yeah, I guess pride. I guess pride in knowing that these people had these experiences and it was documented. It's been well documented all this time, and all you had to do was look. And so that was really surprising. And then the stories of just being told were crazy. I mean, they were interesting, but crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Stories about authors, about musicians,
about the woman,
politicians,
who was a politician and a boxer.
Oh yes, this woman.
Come on.
This woman is noted as being the first licensed female boxer. Licensed. I mean, she's lived a full life. She was a dancer in Paris under the tutelage of Josephine Baker.
Right.
She also was a teacher. She started out as a teacher. So she was a teacher, a dancer, and a boxer. There was something else that she did.
I mean, as if that was enough.
Right.
As if that was enough. It's a Black woman doing all these different things.
Yeah. And so I wanted to ask you, Sekou, what was the best experience today on Martha's Vineyard? What was maybe your top two? What were your top two favorite experiences?
Yeah, my top two were the one I was just talking about, the woman who was trained in so many different things, because each of those things she did could have filled a life. Each of those things she did could have filled a life. And she stacked another thing, another thing, another thing, another thing. It's like, when did she have time to do all these things?
With those obstacles and challenges that Black people faced.
Yeah. And I think she did nurse. She came as a nurse. I don't think she did.
Yes.
I mean, after you're going to go from being a boxer to being a nurse, I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So that was definitely number one. And
okay.
And number two was the one I was just talking to you about. The one where we went down this old road. The roads are rickety, mind you. They're all like if you've only been to see the paved roads, which I've only been to see, you're missing most of the island. And I had no idea about this. But we drove off on this dirt road, and we came up on the one of those markers, one of those, what do you call them?
Markers?
Yeah, one of those markers. And there was this house there, and he told us that the man had been there for 3 weeks. He's fixing it up, and he's going to do. And he's an author. I thought he's an author from
Harlem.
From Harlem. It's like, an author from New York. Like, I'm an author from New York. So that stuck with me. That stuck with me. That he was doing this and maintaining this house in addition to being an author. That really struck me.
Yeah, me too. And I have the name of this author, and I know that one of the words in the title of his book is angel. I'm going to find it so that Sekou and I can support him, get this book, because we hear it's good.
Yeah.
The tour guide said it's amazing. Can I share with you mine too? I had so many. One was, because this is my year first. It's my first time on the vineyard. It's also my first time eating ackee and saltfish.
Ackee and saltfish. Yes, it's delicious.
It was delicious. Now, I love Jamaican food. I've been to Jamaica 2 or 3 times. I used to work in a Jamaican restaurant in Houston, Texas. But yet, I've never had ackee and saltfish. I think I heard about it when I visited St. Croix. The people that I was with, they wanted some, but that was just it. I was just like, I don't know what it is, but so it was delicious. And they gave us so much food. I'm so grateful that Sekou and I are open to sharing. We will order some food and share it because as Americans, you guys know we eat too much. We
Mm.
just our portion sizes are epic, and we have made a conscious decision mostly to share our food, and it was enough.
Yeah, it would have knocked me out during the tour because the tour was so dense. If I had eaten that as a single portion and she had her own portion,
Oh
I'd have been out. I'd have been
yeah,
like,
it would not.
like
It
I'd have
would
been
not have
out.
been good. So when on the vineyard, if you visit Martha's Vineyard, which I lovingly, I mean, I cannot believe it's taken me this many years, but I'm grateful. And I don't think I would have had the level of appreciation and interest that I have now. I would not have had that back then.
Mm,
I was telling Sekou's stepmom that we want to come back. I said, and I feel like we need to stay a week.
mm,
We need to stay over. It was so rich. So when you decide to visit, I lovingly invite you to check out Caribbean cuisine. Caribbean cuisine. It's in the main downtown beach community area.
yeah,
It's Jamaican owned. It was and great service.
yeah,
Great service.
yeah.
The other thing that has my mind churning, I'm like, man, how am I going
Wait a
to?
minute. So your last pick
No, my
was
first pick was the Caribbean
was the
food
Korean food.
because
Okay,
it was a
Korean
first.
food. Okay.
My second is because I have notes
Mm,
is there is a I'm going to call it a movement and it's called the cottages. It's a group of 100 Black female homeowners who get together and talk about ways to improve the community, uplift the community, and support other budding homeowners. So I love that so much. I want to do some research on this movement. I think it's headed by Carrie Camille Tankard. There's so many names, y'all. There's so many names. Um, there's so many names. There were
yeah.
so many names, so many houses, so many contributions, so
He did
many
not look at. He did
stories.
not look at one note.
Not one note.
Not one note.
All of this came from his head and his heart. I asked if he was a historian or what an educator. I think I asked him. He's like, no. He and his wife live in the
One of the gingerbread houses.
one of a 900-foot. So he was sharing with us that the smallest house is 314 square feet,
Which is crazy small. That's
right?
crazy small.
The largest is 1,700 square feet. They live in a 900 square foot home. They purchased it in 2015, but didn't move here as their full-time year-round residents until 2022 because it's 2024. He was very interesting, and I'm curious. I wanted to ask him is if this was his full-time job because he seemed to know, yeah, and if he got this job so that he could also better learn the island. And I think the takeaway for me is we belong. We belong. We have been here long before many others. Native Americans and Black Americans have been here, and it just has not been acknowledged in an open forum kind of way. And there's so many stories I believe to be told. There's so much, even from the name of the beach, Inkwell. The name of that beach is not Inkwell. Inkwell is a nickname that Black kids gave it because they kind of in their own way discovered this beach. And I also learned that there was a time when Black people could not go into the waters with white people's knowledge. White people, it had to be kept under wraps. I learned that as we were boarding the ferry back to the Cape Cod. I learned that Black people had to swim early in the morning, like when it was still dark outside, because they had to be at work at 7 and they had to be out of that water before white people rose and had access to the beach. It's just, it was, thank you. Thank you, Martha. Martha's Vineyard, and we also learned who named Martha's Vineyard and whose name who it was named after.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Well, I remember that there was this man who was trying to take, was the way our guide put it. He was trying to take, and so he got resistance to that. But
got ran out of town. Yes.
Yeah, but ultimately he named it for his daughter, whose name was Martha, and it was Martha's vantage point or something. So it became Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, in 1602, a man named European expeditioner named Bartholomew, last name starts with a G. Fascinating, just fascinating, because for me, I want to know what the relevance of vineyard is. Are there any vineyards on the island?
That's a good point. That's a good point, because we got the first part.
Yeah,
Martha's her name, but I don't know.
So we are choosing to go down the rabbit hole because there's something also I was sharing with Sekou, that there's something really beautiful about the island. I said it has this energy, it feels alive, there's lots to see, there's lots to do.
And this is, for me, this is just a skip and a jump away from where I was, because I've been to Martha's Vineyard, y'all. I've been.
How many times have you been? Do you know?
No, because I used to go a lot when I was a kid, and then just again recently, after the Martian Golf Classic, I would go and hang out. And so the difference between my experience then and now, today, is vastly different. Vastly different. I can't get over the paved roads and the dirt roads. Paved roads, and then they're right. I mean, they're right there. I've never seen them before, but they're right there, and all these houses are constructed on the dirt roads.
Whew, it was. I love the architecture on the island. There's so much more, though, to explore, to experience, and to uncover. There's such a rich history. I also just didn't expect to hear about so many African American politicians, musicians, from Langston Hughes to Madam C.J. Walker to Colin C. Powell.
I mean,
Frederick Douglass.
Yeah.
I mean,
people who are coming to speeches like, what?
Yeah.
It was really profound.
Yes, that's a good word.
It was really profound. Yeah.
So stay tuned for more. We will be going down the rabbit hole of information to share with some of these incredible people. I will share this other story because we have a little less than a minute. There was a slave girl or woman by the name of Ethel. Our tour guide told us, because I asked what her last name was so that I could do research. He said, slaves didn't have last names. And I said, I didn't say anything because I didn't want to sound like I didn't know, but I've never heard that, because
I've never heard that.
I know Harriet Tubman has a last name, and many slaves that I've seen, heard their stories in movies and read their stories in books, they have last names. Ethel was a slave who ran away. She freed herself twice. And the last time she freed herself and supposedly stole what's called a long boat. It is a very long boat. It seats 8 people. Yeah. So there's this mystery around the Native American Indians coming in to rescue her. But that ending could be, it can go so many in so many different directions. But I find that story fascinating as to how this slave woman or girl was able to escape slavery twice. Ooh.
So many.
And there's stories. A marker in honor of her.
Yeah. And that you would miss.
Totally miss.
You would totally miss it. I had to ask for instructions to see it.
It's way up on the building at the top.
You would not see it at all.
He didn't point it out, you just...
Yeah. And knowing to look for those little markers. To look around for those markers.
Yeah.
I should.
Look for the markers.
I should.
The signs are everywhere.
Yep. Everywhere.
And now
it's better than perfect.
that part.
Now it's better than perfect. We'll see you guys later. And I guess that's that. We'll see you later.